You feel the guilt, the obligation, the voice that says, "But they're your family." What if that voice isn't yours? What if it's a program installed to keep you weak, accessible, and endlessly available for consumption? Today, we don't just question the bond of family. We expose it as the most effective psychological weapon ever used against you. These are the truths that set you free. Your loyalty to them is fueled by guilt, not love. Let's dissect this emotion you mislabel as loyalty. It's not a noble bond, it's a carefully conditioned response, a psychological leash they forged in your childhood. Love is an exchange of energy that promotes growth and mutual well-being. What you feel is the opposite, a draining obligation, a fear of the emotional fallout if you were to prioritize yourself. This guilt is a control mechanism. It's the ghost in your machine, programmed to activate whenever your actions deviate from their script. They cultivated this response because a guilt-ridden subject is a compliant one. Evolutionarily, our fear of ostracism from the tribe is a powerful motivator, and they have weaponized this primal fear against you. True loyalty is earned through respect and reciprocity. The feeling that keeps you returning to the source of your pain isn't loyalty at all. It's the Stockholm Syndrome of the soul, an allegiance to your captors born not of affection, but of a deeply ingrained survival strategy to appease the source of the threat. Recognizing this is your first act of liberation. They keep you small because your success is a judgment on their failure. Understand this dynamic with cold clarity. Your growth is a direct indictment of their stagnation. In the zero-sum game of a toxic family's psyche, your success is not your own victory. It is their perceived loss. Every step you take forward casts a long shadow back on the choices they've made, the opportunities they've squandered, and the potential they've buried. To them, your light doesn't just illuminate your path, it scorches their failures. This is why they subtly sabotage your ambitions, belittle your achievements, and create chaos around your moments of triumph. It is a primitive psychological survival mechanism. By keeping you tethered to their level of mediocrity, they avoid the painful cognitive dissonance of confronting their own inadequacies. They are not attacking you personally. They are desperately trying to shatter a mirror that shows them a reflection they cannot bear to see. Your success isn't an inspiration to them. It's an existential threat to the fragile narrative they've built to justify their own lives. They must pull you down to maintain their own psychological equilibrium. This dynamic of suppression is a chillingly common strategy. Have you experienced it yourself? Let me know in the comments below. And do not go anywhere. The truths get darker, and the final one, number 11, isn't just a revelation, it's the key to your entire liberation. It reframes everything you think you know about this fight. You need to hear it. Blood is thicker than water is a lie told by abusers to guarantee a captive audience. This phrase has been weaponized into the ultimate psychological shackle. The irony is that the original proverb, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb," meant the exact opposite, that chosen bonds are stronger than the family you are born into. Toxic families conveniently ignore this truth. They wield the corrupted version as a divine decree, a non-negotiable contract that binds you to them regardless of their cruelty. It's a tool designed to short-circuit your critical thinking. It implies that the accident of your birth creates a debt that can never be repaid, and a loyalty that must never be questioned. This is not a maxim of love. It is the abuser's anthem. It grants them a permanent captive audience for their dysfunction, a built-in punching bag that is socially and emotionally blackmailed into staying. By invoking blood, They bypass all arguments of reason, fairness, and self-preservation. It is a one-sentence cage designed to make you feel that choosing your own sanity is the ultimate betrayal. They are not your family. They are your original wound, and they will keep picking at the scab. The word family implies a source of safety, nourishment, and unconditional support. This is a definition they have failed to meet. You must reclassify them in your mind, not by their biological title, but by their function. They are the architects of your foundational trauma, the original wound from which most of your insecurities and dysfunctional patterns bleed, and they will not allow it to heal. Healing implies independence. A scar is a symbol of a battle survived and overcome. A fresh wound, however, requires constant attention and keeps you weak. Their subtle digs, backhanded compliments, and manufactured crises are not random acts of cruelty. They are the deliberate picking of a scab. They do this to keep you in a state of perpetual psychological distress, because in that state, you are manageable. You are predictable. You remain locked in the childhood dynamic where you need them for a soothing that they themselves make necessary. Escaping them is not abandoning family. It is finally sterilizing the wound and letting it close. Your mental peace is a resource they see as theirs to consume. In the economy of a toxic family, your tranquility is not your private property. It is a communal resource they feel entitled to draw from at will. They are emotional parasites, incapable of generating their own internal validation or stability. Therefore, they must siphon it from an external source. You are that source. Think of your emotional energy like a battery. A healthy relationship is a mutual charging station. A toxic one is a one-way drain. They instigate chaos, create drama, and provoke reactions for one simple reason. Your frantic attempts to restore peace and manage their emotions is the very process that refuels them. Your distress is their stability. Your anxiety is their calm. They don't want you to be happy and peaceful, because a self-sufficient, peaceful person has no excess energy for them to harvest. They need you to be in a state of reactive turmoil. It is a deeply primal, albeit dysfunctional, survival strategy. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's a necessary act of resource management against a predator. You are not abandoning them. You are evacuating a toxic environment that is actively killing you. The language society uses is designed to paralyze you. Abandonment implies you are leaving behind something of value, a helpless victim in need of rescue. This is a deliberate mischaracterization of the facts. You are not leaving a home. You are escaping a contamination zone. You must reframe this act in the cold, hard language of survival. When a building is on fire, you exit. When a ship is sinking, you find a lifeboat. When air is toxic, you seek oxygen. This is not a moral dilemma. It is a biological imperative. The stress, anxiety, and constant vigilance required to navigate their dysfunction is a slow-acting poison. It elevates cortisol, weakens your immune system, and literally shortens your lifespan. They are not just killing your spirit, they are killing your body. The guilt you feel is the equivalent of an alarm bell you've been trained to ignore. To call your self-preservation abandonment is a masterstroke of psychological warfare on their part. It is not an act of desertion, it is an evacuation. Every minute you spend trying to fix them is a minute you steal from building your own life. View your time and energy as your primary non-renewable capital. You are the sole architect of your future, and every unit of this capital must be invested with ruthless strategy. The belief that you can fix them is the single most inefficient and destructive investment you can make. It's not a noble project. It is a black hole. They are not a broken machine awaiting a missing part. Their dysfunction is a self-sustaining ecosystem that thrives on external energy, your energy. Every conversation spent navigating their latest crisis, every ounce of emotional labor spent soothing their manufactured outrage, is capital you are actively embezzling from your own enterprise. You are stealing from your career, your health, your peace, and your potential. The math is brutal and simple. The energy spent trying to renovate their condemned reality is energy that cannot be spent laying the foundation of your own. This isn't a rescue mission. It's a hostile takeover of your resources. Stop funding your own destruction. Divest completely. They don't miss you. They miss their control over you. Do not mistake their attempts to re-establish contact for affection. Their outreach, the sudden calls, the guilt-laden messages, the deployment of flying monkeys, is not born from a place of love or a genuine desire for your presence. It is born from a disruption in their ecosystem. You were a critical component in their psychological machinery. You were the regulator of their moods, the reliable source of narcissistic supply, the scapegoat for their failures. Your absence has created a void, not of love, but of function. It's the frustration of a tyrant who finds a throne empty, or an addict whose supply has been cut off. They are experiencing withdrawal from the power they held over your emotional state. They miss the predictability of your reactions. They miss the leverage they had. They miss the person they could manipulate, not the person you are. The "I miss you" is a coded message. It translates to, "I miss the influence I had over you, and my system is in chaos without it." Society shames you for leaving, because your freedom is a terrifying mirror for those who stay trapped. The chorus of judgment you hear from the outside world is not a valid critique of your character. It is a mass projection of fear. Society is built on convenient narratives, and the sanctity of the family unit is one of its cornerstones. By walking away, you shatter that narrative. You prove that the cage door was never locked. This is an unbearable truth for the millions who have chosen to remain in their own toxic family dynamics out of fear, obligation, or a lack of courage. Your act of self-preservation holds up a mirror to their own captivity. To accept your decision as valid would force them to confront their own cowardice. It's psychologically easier for them to label you as cruel, selfish, or broken than to face the terrifying possibility that they, too, could be free. They shame you not because you are wrong, but because your courage exposes their compliance. You are a threat to their carefully constructed prison of denial. Their condemnation is the sound of shackles rattling in fear. The person you are trying to save is the childhood version of you, not the adult they are today. This is a crucial psychological distinction you must make. Your instinct to rescue, to fix, to endure their abuse is not directed at the adult individuals they have become. It is a deeply ingrained trauma response from your past. You are still trying to save that helpless child who was dependent on them for survival, love, and approval. That child believed that if they could just be good enough, quiet enough, or perfect enough, the pain would stop. This internal, unresolved drama is what keeps you engaged in the present. You are projecting the needs of your inner child onto these adults, hoping they will finally give you the validation they never did. But they are not going to change. They are the same people who created the wound in the first place. You are not dealing with redeemable characters in the third act of a story. You are dealing with the unchanging architects of your original pain. Your mission is not to save them. It is to finally reach back in time, take that child's hand, and walk them out of that burning house yourself. Cutting them off isn't about them. It's about killing the part of yourself that still seeks approval from your abuser. This is the final, brutal truth. The war is not external. It never was. The act of going no contact is not a move against them on the chessboard of life. It is the final, internal execution of a traitor within your own psyche. The enemy is the deeply conditioned Stockholm Syndrome part of your own mind that still craves a crumb of validation from the very source of its own starvation. This is the part of you that believes, on a primal level, that their approval is synonymous with survival itself. It's a ghost of the helpless child who needed them to live. Cutting them off starves this ghost. It denies it the possibility of ever getting the hit it craves. The pain you feel in the process is not grief for them. It is the death agony of your own hope for their redemption. It is the killing of the fantasy that the people who hurt you will ever be the ones to heal you. This act isn't about punishment. It's about sovereignty. It is the ultimate declaration that you are now the sole source of your own validation. You made it to the end because you are ready to face reality. The path forward is built on the ashes of these convenient lies. Embrace the clarity. Embrace the power that comes with it. Subscribe for more truths that society would rather you not know. 11 Dark Truths. See clearly.